And now we're in the kitchen with Michael Bailey of the Embassy Club in Des Moines, and we're going to cook with black walnuts. And honestly, the only thing that I have ever seen anybody cook with black walnuts are cookies. So we're not going to make cookies today, though.
No, we're taking black walnuts and kind of going a different couple of savory routes with them. I didn't want to do the traditional just black walnut and chocolate chip cookies, so we're going to take a little bit of savory applications to them, and we're going to start off with a black walnut soup. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And unsalted butter. You always want to use unsalted butter, as the salted butter obviously has salt in it. You want to be able to adjust your seasoning as you go.
And butter makes everything better, right?
Absolutely. Butter makes everything better. And our next ingredient, bacon, really makes everything better. That's the key. This gives it a little bit of depth, smokiness, and really complements the flavor of the walnuts. A few more of our red onions, celery. We want to cook this until the bacon is fully cooked and the onions become just a little bit translucent. One of our garnishes for the dish is we take a little bit of ciabatta bread and we're going to cut it into 2.5 to 3 inch long pieces. Toast them in the oven. Next, after this cooks for a little bit, we want to add our chicken stock, a little heavy cream. We're going to add the black walnuts to this mixture and then transfer it to a soup pot. And what we want to do here is bring this mixture up to a boil and then simmer it with no lid for 20 to 25 minutes. Next, I'm going to strain the solid ingredients from the liquid, and we'll add them at 2 different times. So the walnuts go into the blender. And the whole idea is to have this perfectly smooth, because the walnut meat has a little bit of a grainy texture. Now that you know that it's safe, you got it started, I'll slowly add the remainder of the liquid. I'm going to take a look at now with my spoon, and I want to see a little bit of the texture, see how it kind of coats the spoon. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm looking for the thickness of this soup. And what I was trying to do with this particular dish is give it kind of an espresso kind of feel. This is just the fun presentation side of it. We're gonna fill up our large coffee cup, about 3/4 of the way full. And we're going to add our toasted ciabatta bread that we did a little earlier. And this is for people's love of dipping. So you can kind of imagine these as kind of like false biscotti for your espresso.
All right.
And to finish it off, this is just a little unsweetened whipped cream. We're gonna put a little bit of that in the top, a little swirl. That will help add a little creaminess to it. And then at my club, we grow our own microgreens. These are some amaranth greens and a little bit of mixed beet greens, just to add a little bit of an extra textural flavor and a little bit of brightness to the dish.
Right, it's beautiful.
There you go, black walnut soup. So we're going to do a black walnut risotto in a pressure cooker.
All right, so we're replacing the rice with black walnuts.
Absolutely. We're going to start off with sautéing some yellow onions. Get a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. You just want to start these off in the pan. And they don't necessarily need to brown. You just want to get them a little bit translucent. This is a quarter cup of sweet vermouth. If you want to stand back a little bit, this might flame up a little bit.
Woo!
The sweet vermouth is going to do two things. It's going to help neutralize the tannins in the walnuts, and it's going to give it just a little depth of flavor. You want to just cook this until the flames subside. So you want to take out all of the alcohol out of the sweet vermouth and just leave the good flavor. Otherwise, it's going to have kind of a bitter finish when it's done. Now we'll add our black walnuts, and we want to simmer this and cook this until the vermouth is pretty much dry. But we want to coat the walnuts in it so they're bringing a little bit of flavor into the pressure cooker.
All right. And why are you going to cook them in the pressure cooker?
Well, the pressure cooker is going to do two things. Any risotto takes about 25 to 35 minutes of cooking time. And if we were to cook the walnuts in the mushroom stock that we have here for 25 to 35 minutes, we would have this puree, or end up with this kind of mush. And what the pressure cooker will do, it cooks it under pressure, and it will keep the walnuts in their form, but allow all the natural oils and natural flavors to go out into the sauce that we're going to use for the risotto. What we're going to do is set it for 25 minutes. And while that time's going, we will start preparing the meat of this vegetarian dish. Julia Child had a great saying that, when you're cooking mushrooms, don't crowd the pan, because you want to release the great flavor from them. You want to get them good and golden brown. Basically, to help release a little bit of the liquid from the mushrooms, a little bit of salt, and I like using kosher salt. It's just a nice heavy grained salt, and a little bit of cracked black pepper. What we're looking for, I'm just kind of flipping them over and looking for a little bit of brown color, a little caramelization on them. That's just going to help really enhance the flavor. You can hear the sizzle. I don't know if you can smell those too. These mushrooms are fantastic in flavor and just nice and meaty. Any risotto, the whole thought is to have a nice creamy texture to the rice. In this case, we're using the black walnuts. So we're going to take the mix. Oh wow, that smells delicious. So if you'd like to ladle out just two nice ladles, a little bit of the broth and the walnuts. Great. This is going to be about 1/3 of our mix. Great, and you can see inside there. That looks like I added cream and butter to this dish, and that's what's going to help keep this vegetarian. Now we're going to add this back to the rest of our mix in our pressure cooker, and if you want to give that a quick stir, I'm going to add a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano.
All right.
Just a little.
A more traditional risotto.
Yeah, a little more traditional, and somebody doesn't stop me, I'm going to shave this whole block into here.
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
So if you'll just give that a quick stir for me, I think we can start plating. This is a puree of carrot and turmeric, and this carrot has a lot of natural sweetness to it. We're going to use that to counteract the heavy flavor of the walnuts.
Okay.
A little stripe down the plate, and we'll take our black walnut risotto here, and this is fantastic.
And you strained some of the liquid out. You don't want it to be really soupy.
Yeah, I don't want it to be really soupy. And you find that it is, you can take a little bit of the liquid out. But we're just gonna take a little bit of this black walnut risotto,
Pretty.
put in there.
All right.
And this is where you can get a little artistic and put just whatever really looks beautiful on the plate. And these mushrooms look fantastic. We have just a little bit of greens we're gonna add to this, just as a little bit of added bitterness and some color. And finally, this is just a little bit of infused herb olive oil. And I've used tarragon and fresh thyme. And this is kind of the fun part. It doesn't need to go really anywhere. You just kind of paint the plate.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
And there you go. I have a black walnut risotto, carrot puree,
That is
and
lovely.
some roasted fall mushrooms.
Yeah, and it smells so good too.